Afternoon. The next topic in today's class from Unit 5 is email. We have already studied about DNS in the earlier class, and as I have mentioned, we will be studying few of the application programs or application layer in Unit 5 along with some basic principles of cryptography. So first and foremost, email is an abbreviation for electronic mail, and this is an application layer program, right? So it is an application layer program, and it is not so simple, it is quite complicated. That is, it consists of several components. So at the beginning of the internet era, the messages sent by email, so earlier times when the email was invented earlier, the messages were short and only of text. That is, they let people exchange quick memos, that is short messages only. And nowadays we are able to send all kind of information, that is, we are able to send text, audio, video, documents, etc. Also, one more important distinction of email is that it allows messages to be sent to one message to multiple recipients also. That is also possible. So one to many relationship is possible. Okay. So that is an important feature, because when compared to the earlier messaging services, that is postal, one message was not one message was not possible to send to many recipients in an instant, right? So if we add because we know in these days we are able to send one email to hundreds of people, so that was an important thing for consideration at that time. Now here in this topic, we first study the general architecture of an email system, including the three main components. So the email will have three main components. First is the user agent. Then next is the message transfer agent, which is also abbreviated as MTA, UAMTA, and MAA, message access agent. So we will describe these three protocols in the next slide. So first and foremost, so the most popular internet services, electronic mail or email. And when emails were designed, actually, the designer also did not imagine the popularity now what it has. They did not even imagine the popularity of this program. And its architecture consists of several components. Now, this is the first scenario in an electronic mail. So in the first scenario, the sender and the receiver of the email are users. Okay. So users are also known as I mentioned, user agent. And they are on the same system. That is, both the users are on the same system. They are directly connected to a shared system. The administrator has created one mailbox. So there is a mailbox for each user. So suppose if this is the mailboxes, then one is for Alice, the other is for Bob. Now, what is a mailbox? A mailbox is basically a part of a local hard drive which is a special file with permission restrictions. So only the owner of the mailbox has access to it. Suppose if it is Alice's mailbox, then only Alice can access it. And when Alice, a user, needs to send a message to Bob, another user, Alice, what she will do is run a user agent. So user agent program to prepare the message and store it in Bob's mailbox. So the message has the sender and the recipient box addresses. So the sender, suppose is in box 1 and the recipient is box 2, then that message will have the sender's address and also the recipient's address. Sender is the one who is sending, recipient is the one who is receiving this mail. Now what Bob can do, Bob can go to his mailbox, retrieve and read the contents of his mailbox at his own convenience. So whenever he finds time, Bob can go and check the contents of his mailbox by using what? By using another user agent. So Alice will send the message by using a user agent, and Bob will also receive the message by using the user agent. So this picture depicts this entire scenario. Now this is similar to the traditional memo exchange. Now in offices in earlier times, they had the concept of memo between employees in an office. So suppose one employee wanted to pass a message to another employee from another department or the same department also, they had a memo exchange thing. So there is a mail room where each employee has a mailbox. So there is a mail room. So how this is a system, this system in this way will also have a mail room in an office where all the employees will have mailboxes. So whoever wants to pass a message to another employee, they will write a memo and write their own name and the recipient's name and put it in his mailbox. So when Alice needs to send a memo to Bob, what she will do, she writes the memo and insert it into Bob's mailbox. So when he checks his mailbox, he finds Alice's memo and reads it. So this is with respect to the first scenario. So basically we will be seeing 4 scenarios in an email. So this is the first one. When the sender and the receiver of an email are on the same system, we need only 2 user agents. So the important keywords are over here. Keywords over here are same system, then we will need only 2 user agents. Now this is the second scenario. In the second scenario, the sender and the receiver of the email are users or application programs on 2 different systems. So here you can see Alice is on one mail server and Bob is on another mail server. The message needs to be sent over the internet. So as you can see, Alice is sending a message. It is being sent over the internet. That is, internet is transporting the message. So here we need user agents and message transfer agent also. So as I have mentioned, we have 3 things: user agent, message transfer agent, and message access agent. So in the second scenario, we are using both of these. So Alice needs to use the user agent program to send her message to the system at her own site. So what Alice will do, Alice will send a message to the system at her own site by using the user agent. After that, the system, which is called the mail server of her side or her site, uses a queue. So it is using a queue to store messages waiting to be sent. Bob will also need a user agent to retrieve the messages stored in the mailbox. So Alice, when she is sending a message, it will be stored in the queue, and Bob, when he is retrieving the message, will be stored in a mailbox. So the message needs to be sent through the internet from Alice to Bob. So here, 2 message transfer agents are needed. Okay, so one is on the client side and another on the server side. So like most client server programs on the internet, the server needs to run it all the time. So why does the server needs to run all the time? Because it does not know when a client will ask for a connection. So server, whenever we are talking about servers on the internet, the server will run 24/7 because it will wait. It keeps on waiting for the client to ask for a connection. The client, on the other hand, can be alerted by Alice's system whenever there is a message in the queue or whenever Alice is sending a message to the queue to be sent. So this is with respect to the second scenario. So here, when the sender and the receiver of an email on different systems, we need 2 user agents and a pair of message transfer agent, that is a client message transfer agent and a server message transfer agent. So this is important now. Okay, now we have the third scenario. In the third scenario, Bob, as in the second scenario, is directly connected to his system. Okay, so Bob is directly connected to the mail server. Alice, however, is separated from her system, that is the system to which she needs to send her message to be transferred over the internet. She is not directly connected. Alice is connected to this system either via point to point LAN, WAN, or dial up modem. Okay, a DSL or a cable modem, etc. Basically, she is not directly connected, there is some kind of interface in between. So now all users need to send their messages to this mail server. So whoever wants to send a message over the internet needs to send a message to this mail server. So now you can see Alice will need a user agent to prepare her message. She then needs a message through the, she then needs to send a message in through this dotted line also, right? So for this, she can do this through a pair of MTA client and server. So she will need a client machine which will intimate the server that listen, I have to connect and send a message. Okay. So whenever Alice has a message to send, she calls the user agent, which will in turn call this MTA client, and then the MTA client establishes a connection with the MTA server on this mail server, which is running all the time. The system at Alice's site queues all messages received. Okay. It then uses a MTA client. So here it is using a MTA client to send the message to the system at Bob side. So here this client is sending the message to the mail server, and this client will send it over the internet, and the server here will receive it. And then it may directly pass it to Bob's mailbox. So once Bob checks his mailbox, it will he will see that there is a message for him from Alice. So this is with respect to the third scenario. Okay, so now over here, what is the important thing to be remembered? When the sender is connected to the mail server via a LAN or a WAN or a modem, we need two user agents. Where are the two user agents? One is at Alice and the other is at Bob, and two pairs of MTAs. Why two? Because there is an MTA client, MTA server from this connection, and again we have an MTA client and an MTA server. So totally we need two user agents and four MTAs. Okay. Now finally we will be seeing the fourth scenario. So in the fourth scenario, not only Alice is connected to the mail system which is sending the messages over the internet, but also Bob is not connected to this system through either LAN, WAN or modem. So in this case, as you can see, this is first user agent. We will have two user agents. Then we will have a MTA client to MTA server. Then MTA client to MTA server to send to the internet. Then again to pass it to Bob's computer, we need a MAA. So here to access the message, the green one is message access agent. So this is the difference over here. Okay. So when Bob needs to retrieve, we need another set of client server agents. For retrieval, we will need message access agent. So in the fourth scenario, we are using the third component of email, which is the message access agent. To access the mails, he will need this MAA server and MAA client. So this is shown in the figure over here, and also it is clearly shown in this figure also. So for MTA client and server, client is pushing the message, and in the case of message access agent, client is pulling the messages. So that is the difference between the MTA client and the MAA client. So as you can see, MTA client is pushing, but here MAA client is pulling the message. So this is with respect to the fourth scenario. When both the sender and the receiver are connected to the mail server via a LAN or a WAN, we need two user agents, two pair of message transfer agents, and a pair of message access agents. So this is the most common situation in these days. Okay. Now we have the next topic, which is user agent. So the first component of our email is the user agent. It provides services to the user. So what are the services of the user we will be seeing here? So to make the process of sending and receiving messages easier, these are the services it is providing. So first is composing messages, reading messages, replying to messages, forwarding messages, and handling mailboxes. So a user agent is basically a software package or a program. So it is simply a software program that composes, reads, replies to, and forwards the messages. It also handles the mailboxes. So these are the typical services of the user agent. Now, what do you mean by composing messages? Just to simply write the email messages to be sent out. Most user agents provide a template on the screen. So what is the template we usually see when we want to compose messages? To then we have the subject, then CC, BCC, then whatever message needs to be written, and down we have signature also if you want to add that additional option. So some composing messages also have built-in editor. Gmail has that, and we can spell check, grammar checking, and other tasks to be expected from a word processor. So a user can also alternatively use his or her favorite text editor or word processor to create the message and copy paste it or cut paste it in the user agent template. Now next is reading messages. As a second functionality or the service of a user agent is to read the incoming message. So when a user invokes a user agent, it first checks the mail in the incoming mailbox. So you have the mailbox, and in that you will have various outbox, inbox. So basically your incoming messages, the messages which are arriving are stored in your inbox, and they also show a one-line summary, right? The subject is shown over there. So each email contains a number field, a flag field that shows the status of the mail, such as new, already read, but not replied to, or read and replied to. Size of the message, sender, the optional subject field. Now the next is replying to messages. After reading a message, a user can use the user agent to reply to a message, and usually the user to reply to the original sender or to reply to all of the recipients of this message. The message may contain an original message also. Suppose if you are getting an invite, then you may write that I'll be coming to a dinner or a party. So that is for quick reference. It may have a new message also. Next is forwarding message. Replying is basically sending the message to the sender or the recipient. Okay. Forwarding means sending your message to some third party, to some third person. So a user agent allows the receiver to forward the messages also, with or without extra comments. So we can even add some extra comments, or without extra comments also we can pass it to some third person. Now, a user agent normally creates two mailboxes. In the case of handling mailbox, that is, first it has an inbox, and secondly it has an outbox. Each box is a file with a special format that can be handled by the user agent. The inbox keeps all the received emails until they are deleted by the user. The outbox, or these days we have the sent, not the outbox. Outbox has which did not get sent, but the sent keeps all the sent emails until the user deletes them. And most of these user agents are capable of creating customized mailboxes also. So we have promotional, social messages, promotional messages, etc. So there is a possibility of creating customized messages also. Now we have some examples of user agents. So some examples of user command. So basically, whenever we are talking about user agents, there are two types. First is the command driven, and the next is the GUI based. And what is command driven user agent? Those belong to the early days of emails, and even now they are present, but they're the underlying ones. Okay, so they might be at the back end. And a command driven user agent normally accepts only one character command from the keyboard. For example, a user can type the character R at the command prompt to reply to the sender of the message. So some examples of those command driven user agents are mail, pine, and so these are the names of the command driven user agents. Now modern day user agents are basically GUI based, right? So they contain GUI, graphical user interface, that allows the user to interact with the software by using both mouse and keyboard. And they have graphical components such as icons, menus, bars, and windows that make the service easy to access. Some example of GUI based user agents are Eudora, Outlook, and Netscape. So today we will conclude the class over here, and we will see the format of an email and the next topics in the next class. Thank you.